Welcome to this video stream, everyone. Welcome to the Frontier Doubles League Lone Frontier 1v1 tournament. This is the Elite League's turn on the stream, and joining me here is ConwayTwtchy. Another single elimination bracket ahead of us here with another great set of players as well. Conway, this is another good bracket, another time for these players in this 1v1 tournament to prove themselves. And with it being single elimination, well, you have a lot to prove, that's for certain.
Yeah, this first matchup here, Zuggs versus Chris. We know Chris can be a very good player. I'm not certain that I've seen Zuggs play very often, but with it being elite, I mean, it's going to be a really good matchup either way.
Well, I think one thing I can say about this is I believe Zuggs is EU, so this is going to be very tough for Zuggs, even though they are the higher ranked player, they are EUs. This is what our bracket looks like tonight here as well, Zuggs and Chris in our first one. This is a best of 3, by the way. Our semis and finals after this will be best of 5, so will be an important match up here. But again, while we get things kind of sorted out and while we get players ready to kind of get things underway, Zuggs and Chris, pretty big matchup. Zuggs is definitely the favorite, but again, they're EU. That ping's not going to help them very much in one-win matches. Again, little things can make a very big difference. It really could be anyone's night to win.
Yeah, and the thing about ones is if somebody gets hot, they start making some pretty good plays and such. The game can get out of hand. Each matchup can get out of hand, but with these players being as high up as they are, I really don't see that, being a thing.
We'll see about that as we get closer and closer to the start of this first matchup. Again, this being a best of 3, this being your first match tonight for either of these two players, and this also being the highest division as well. The elite tier is GC3 and above, from what I remember. Actually, more specifically, 1700 MMR and above, which is GC3 in 2s, by the way, if you're wondering. Here, so, again, it will be it'll be very important to get yourself off to a strong start here, in this matchup, obviously, for both these players, and not only just because, obviously, it's best of 3, you gotta get off to a good start. If you don't, you're already behind that much more. But even more importantly, thinking about the future, you got to make sure that you play well in this first match, because that's going to likely carry over into your next series as well if you're either of these two.
Yeah, I mean, momentum is really going to be a big thing, as I've already mentioned. If you get, like you said, if you get behind a goal or two, you might get a little bit more aggressive going into the next half of the game or the next minute, and you just got to be very careful, very timely, and very thoughtful with your plays and with your touches. Challenge things too early, challenge things too far, or maybe you give too much space and it just, it becomes a goal. It's not what you want.
Yeah, we'll see about that here. As you said, things can definitely turn around quickly in 1v1s here, as we're just going to wait on everybody to join the lobby. But as soon as everybody's here, we're getting our match underway. So now, though, I can say that we're going to have to wait a little bit, but we have hit our match start time here, so in theory, both Zuggs and Chris should be joining in just about any moment from now. We also have gotten an update, by the way, for the rest of this bracket. The winner of this will play against Mayo in the next round. Mayo has just won his first round match in a forfeit win. So Mayo waiting in the semifinals for the winner of this series. And as a player, actually, I do recognize. I've seen Mayo before on the stream. He plays for Slav Squad Esports. It'll be very fun to see him up next. But Mayo's going to be watching intently because this match is important for him. This is determining who he has to play in his matchup later tonight.
Yeah, and if they get a chance to pay attention to the matchup, you can kind of see like whoever you're going to be playing next. You can see their tendencies, maybe get a little bit of timing on them. That recon can be very, very important in a matchup like this.
He also might just be watching for the fun of it. I know Mayo decently well. He's probably just I just imagine that that Mayo. I mean, he's been watching the stream before again, whenever in anything that he plays. So he might just be watching for fun as well. I would imagine if you're Mayo, considering that there's nothing on the line in these tournaments, there's no prize pool. He's just coming in for fun of it, and he's just trying to enjoy his time. So that's kind of what I imagined is the possibility here, is that Mayo's just trying to enjoy his time here.
Hey, I know Rocket Leaguers can be competitive, so that was the only reason that I say that. But, if you're just here to hang out, that's fine too. Like you said, this was just for bragging rights, so they don't have to worry about, like you said, a prize pool or anything like that. So, but we all are very supportive here. So it's always nice to have more people hanging out.
Yeah, of course. I think that's kind of the fun about these tournaments is that you can kind of just like enjoy it as well here. But um, yeah, we'll see how things go here. But again, right now we are waiting. Zuggs has not shown up yet. The way it works is that we're going to wait a couple more minutes here. If Zuggs does not show up in a few minutes, this would be a forfeit for Zuggs, which is unfortunate because the tournament we had earlier with the Star League also had a forfeit in its first matchup in the semifinals, actually. But again, if Zuggs does not show up, that means for Chris, hey, it's a free win. They'll get to go to the semifinals and play their first matchup. Unfortunately, though, that would mean that all of our top 4 seeds have not shown up, which I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's just, I guess, weird luck that all our top 4 seeds wouldn't show up. Hopefully that's not the case, though. Hopefully we'll get Zuggs as well.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, nobody wants to make it through with a forfeit win. You kind of want to earn it, but it's just the way sometimes these tournaments can go. Not what you want to see, especially not for us when we want to cast some matches. But it's just kind of the way it happens sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It sometimes just happens to be that way. So again, we'll wait a couple more minutes here for Zuggs to show up. Maybe Zuggs will make their appearance. That's not the case, obviously. Then this would become a forfeit. So we'll wait a couple more minutes, see if we can get an answer here. But in the case that Zuggs does not show up, which I was told earlier that this was not impossible. That Zuggs may not show up for this match at all. That is what happens, then we'll just have to deal with it. We'll go right to semifinals, which would be a best of 5. But for now, while we wait a little bit as well, knowing everybody who is now left in the bracket, considering that, again, assuming that Zuggs won't show up, it's going to be Zrsty, Mayo, and Chris. Do you have a favorite in this matchup, Conway? Do you have a favorite player that you think is going to win this whole thing? That, would be most likely to win this whole thing, basically.
Honestly, not really. I'm just interested to kind of see how the rest of the bracket plays out. Honestly, like I said, I've watched some folks, but not everybody. Not enough to make an educated guess on it. But I will say, as somebody who's been in FDL for a while, it would be kind of cool to see Chris kind of go to the top and take it.
Definitely see how that will work here. Chris is the low seed, and hey, considering our Star Division had its low seed win, who knows? Maybe Chris will do it too. But for now, we'll just have to wait a little bit longer here. My personal favorite, it's the only player I know of here, is Mayo. So, it's the only player I know very well here in this bracket is Mayo. I've already seen him before, and he actually played pretty well in his matchup. I don't know if he's the favorite to win this thing. Probably not. Zrsty is the highest ranked player. I've checked all that. Zrsty is definitely the highest ranked player in 2s. But again, we'll wait a little bit. Although Zrsty's in an interesting position because Zrsty is also EU. Come to think of it as well. He's the other EU player in this bracket, and he's playing, and apparently it's 2:30 a.m. for him right now. So he's going to be playing likely at like 3:30 a.m. So I can't imagine that's going to be very good for Zrsty, but considering that that's probably normal for him, unfortunately, knowing a lot of these players at this rank level, it's probably normal for him. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, a lot of EU players who play with folks in North America. They they get used to playing later just because it's just the nature of the beast. With it being a Friday night or a Saturday morning over there, I mean, most people don't.
Well, it's
usually
definitely
work
Sunday
weekends.
morning. It's definitely Sunday morning for them. Considering that he's EU.
You're right, because today is Saturday.
I was gonna say.
Apologize.
Oh, you thought to get today was Friday?
Yeah, my days get all mixed up.
You okay? Let me ask you. Do you have a bad sleep schedule as well?
Not a bad sleep schedule. My work shifts are kind of off.
You just forgot about a whole extra day here.
That is the way it works.
I guess Friday wasn't very interesting for you because you completely forgot about it.
No, my Friday was certainly not interesting. It was not a good time for me. I pretty much slept the whole day away. I was having
well, no
I had a headache, so I basically just skipped a whole day, and I'm here. So
I guess you skipped a whole day, not just literally, but also mentally, because it is definitely Saturday evening tonight. So he'll be playing Saturday evening into Sunday morning. But again, considering that Zrsty wanted to show up for this tournament, wants to play this thing, he's already going to be in the grand finals, waiting for his matchup. Considering all the other forfeits we've had so far, we'll just have to wait and see how things work out here. But again, we're going to give it a few more minutes. It does seem like, though, the likely outcome is that Chris will be playing against Mayo. We'll give it a few more minutes. We'll give him 10 minutes total to show up for this matchup. If Zugs does not show up, then that means ChrisWithaK will be in the semifinals to play against Mayo. But considering that we haven't gotten an update yet about Zugs, this is likely going to be a no-show and a forfeited matchup. It's really unfortunate because I'm sure, because Zugs is such a solid player, but that is going to be what happens here.
Yeah, I think either way we'll get into the next matchup and things will be okay. A little unfortunate, like you said, but it'll be all right.
Yes, we're getting confirmation here. Zugs is not going to be able to show up. It's just we have not heard anything from Zugs so far. So what we are going to do right now, unfortunately, is we're going to actually have to go to a break. When we come back, ChrisWithaK will be playing against Mayo in the semifinals. So we're going to go straight to the best of fives now in the semifinals. As mentioned already, that Zrsty is already in the grand finals, so we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll get everything set up. We'll be back with you all in the semifinals. Welcome back to the Frontier Doubles League, Lone Frontier Elite League here. As we saw already, it was a forfeited win for ChrisWithaK. So now they're in the semifinals to take on Mayo in their next matchup. Joining me here again, ConwayTwtchy. These start the best of 5, so longer matchups now for everybody in this bracket. And Zrsty will be waiting on who to play against in the grand finals. So for both these players, the best of 5s now means it's a much longer matchup, a much tougher matchup, and obviously now means you need to adapt a lot more to your opponents.
Yeah, with it going to a best of 5 versus a best of 3, you don't necessarily have to worry about losing that first game and then trying to keep up with it. In a best of 5, you can lose 1. You don't really want to lose 2, but you get a little bit more of that feeling out time and that feeling out process. So I think that it will be, a little bit more beneficial for the players. But and best of 5s are always a very, very exciting series, nonetheless.
The last best of 5 was in the Star League earlier tonight in the grand finals. That went to game 5, but we'll see if this match has that capability as well. Mayo on the orange. I recognize Mayo from Slop Squad Esports. He's part of the Slop Squad Esports side. As ChrisWithaK on the other side here, and this will be again a best of 5 matchup. Winner of this will play against Zrsty in the grand finals. As looking for the early shot was Chris, just a little bit wide of the net here. As Mayo to the dribble, flip reset, will look to keep it away. As Chris will challenge Mayo. No goals just yet, but a lot of panic so far from Mayo. Really being outplayed by the speed that Chris is playing at. That's going to be something that Mayo's going to have to get used to quickly, because Conway's playing quite fast, and Mayo cannot allow himself to get outpaced.
Yeah, Chris can be very aggressive attacking the ball. As we've seen, he's going to get a good long clear to the middle there. Mayo's going to meet it. Mayo gets another good touch there off the nose of Chris, still in the blue side. It's going to roll back towards the goal. Mayo with a shot. Chris goes to save it. It's going to go off the crossbar. Another crossbar save, and Mayo finally going to put that one in. I gotta say, I love the addition of the crossbar sounds there, because it just kind of showed everything that was going on, and Chris unfortunately couldn't clear that off the goal line. Mayo's going to take an early 1-0 lead here, 4:03 left in the game.
Yeah, it's a early 1-0 lead, although it took about a minute to get that first goal, and Chris nearly saving it as well with some pretty heroic stands on defense there, but and the early pace of Chris is really going to make things a little bit more difficult for Mayo here, as off the sidewall. Session, and Mayo's gonna have a chance. That should have been in for Mayo. That was a wide open net. Chris kind of gave Mayo that chance and knew way too late that he actually left the net wide open. Mayo, who has that first goal, showing a little bit of weakness so far in the way that he's trying to control this game, but Chris is making mistakes. He's leaving the map field a bit open, and Mayo is happy to take it. It may not be, I would say that Mayo hasn't been playing like the better player so far. He's not been the more confident player, but Chris has made more mistakes. Mayo has done a great job at anytime that Chris makes a mistake on taking the chance the other way.
Yeah, you have to capitalize on those, and you're right. Mayo maybe not necessarily the most confident player here, but Chris, with the speed that he's playing at, is prone to make a few more mistakes. That one, an own goal, or pardon me, not an own goal from Mayo. Mayo gets that one off the kickoff and rolls back. I don't know why I thought that was an own goal. It rolled towards the blue, but that's A-OK. Mayo with a good kickoff goal, and Chris finds himself down 3-0 early, 3:21 left. Lots of time, but gonna have to play maybe a little bit more conservatively here.
Yeah, we'll have to see kind of how he wants to play this one here, as again, gotta be smart about what you're doing as Chris. Oh, that's a great shot. Little hook shot over. Great timing, great movement, and that is a big play and a big score.
Yeah, I think Mayo thought maybe it had a little bit more time, not expecting that ball to come in as fast as it did, and a really good shot placement by Chris. Mayo just leaving some space, and Chris taking advantage of it. Mayo has the ball again, pushing it in, and going to get it around Chris. Didn't get a good kickoff there, just off to the side here, deflects off the ball, and just leaves it open. Mayo able to recover faster, and that is just the way ones goes sometimes. Mayo up 4-1, 3:09 left here in this matchup.
Yeah, and at least a strong enough start here as Chris beat Mayo. Can't put that one in. Still going though is Mayo, who he got him on a fake. He's gonna make it 5-1. Mayo, after what was an early start of many mistakes from Chris, now he's just plain old taken over here. A great kickoff will lead to a great play, and Mayo doing a great job at winning the ball, really taking control now. And after what was a rather kind of weak start from Mayo has now definitely turned around. He's playing a lot better now, and he's really playing well to what Chris doesn't want him to do, which is, you know, playing a lot of challenges, playing a lot of 50-50s, and making some smart decisions, which is really going to benefit him in the long run.
Yeah, that confidence coming out very, very early, and a 4-goal lead will do it, but Chris is going to cut it to 3 here. Just playing this one off the corner. Mayo not able to get out to it and just barely misses the defensive shadow defense touch there.
Tough play to make, but one that Mayo will just not be able to get there in time. Chris looking to let Mayo off on the hook here as bit of an awkward play for Mayo. Doesn't get any part of the ball here as Chris trying to bait him in. Does well to force Mayo into the challenge, but he won't have a good time recovering. And Mayo will not let him out. 6-2 now as Chris did everything he wanted to do here. He wanted Mayo to challenge this one. He left the play for Mayo to challenge. And yet it still doesn't work. Mayo pinches the ball up and is just the first one to get to it.
Yeah, Chris had a hard time recovering on the wall there, so I'm kind of slide down as he was getting back, and that just cost him maybe a good half second of recovery time, and it was just enough for Mayo to pop that ball around. That can be one of the hardest things, is just getting those wall recoveries. Chris is going to pop that one down and out, carries it down the field, gets it around 1. Mayo able to catch that one and drive it down the field. I think Chris was hoping for a little bit more of a bounce there, but Chris going to fight this one. Still on the blue side. Chris gets to it first. He's behind Mayo. Ball rolls towards the net undefended, and Chris is going to cut into that lead, cut it back down to 3. 2:10 left in the matchup. And looking good. Chris not letting the game get too far out of hand. Definitely able to make some moves and get back to it. And mind you, we're only halfway through game 1. And we've just seen a lot of aggressive play from Chris and Mayo able to do what needed. But Chris with a good kickoff there. It's off the wall and just going to tuck it in neatly into the corner. They met each other. Chris maybe gets there second, gets that ball deflected, and gets it right in around the corner. Nothing Mayo can do there to make that save.
Yeah, Chris doing what he wants to do there, and that is just kind of close in on Mayo and really not give Mayo any breathing room here. Mayo's only leading by 2, and there's still a lot left in this game here as horseback will have a tough time winning that challenge. Mayo still reads it properly though as Cooks here pinch will. That's not even going to be on target, but Chris just kind of clears it back. Mayo actually was out of position there. Mayo almost got beat on that play. Chris nearly finding the 5th goal on what was a rather just a play just sent upfield. Won't win the challenge and won't win the play. Mayo's going to have the 3-goal lead reestablished, and well, staying away from Chris is the job that Mayo has right now, and it has definitely not been easy, and Mayo's not exactly made this easier on himself. He is staying away from Chris. He's continuing to match what Chris is doing on offense.
Yeah, and not rushing plays. I mean, like we said, Chris, with the urgency there, really just kind of finding himself out of position a little bit more than expected. A little bit of a fake play there. Mayo gets out of the way, and Chris with a really, really bold shot there cuts it to 2. Chris had a shot on the other end before that other Mayo goal that unfortunately just didn't have enough power on it and probably could have gone in, but Mayo was able to dig it off the goal line, and instead of being closer to a 2-goal game back then or a 1-goal game, it is currently 5-7, 124 left, but Chris is still fighting and still in this. Mayo's going to get a good bounce off there, get back to it, and that lead back to 3. These kickoff goals are really making the difference for Mayo here, I gotta say.
2 kickoff goals in a row? Chris has not exactly been able to win these kickoffs easily late in this game, and he really needs to. I mean, this is something that you need to win if you're this late in the game, because time is really going to be against you at this point if you are ChrisWithaK. Another kickoff win will go for yet another shot, and Chris just can't get to it! That one's just a bit too powerful for Chris to handle. And another kickoff goal for Mayo. This is what now? 3 kickoff goals for Mayo, and his last 3 goals have all been up the kickoff. This has been a terrible position for Chris. These kickoffs have as you said, they've made the difference so far. They're the reason why Mayo has such a good lead right now, because Chris can't seem to win them.
Yeah, but Chris is going to get that one cleared off there. Ball's going to go down, carrying it in the air. Mayo is down. Chris was not able to get the second touch he was looking for there. Mayo is turning back on the ball, leaving some space. Chris takes a shot. It's going to bounce out. Chris has to be careful. Got caught on the goal post there. That one could sneak in and does, and Mayo is going to go up 5-0. or not 5-0, a 5-goal lead. I apologize. It is 5-10 with 51 left. With this being ones, I can't say that this game is chalked just yet, but it's starting to get out of reach for Chris.
Yeah, this is definitely a position where if Mayo scores once more, I don't think Chris comes back from this one. And all really Mayo has to do is not even score. He just needs to make sure Chris doesn't score. That's a pretty simple job to do. He's done pretty well with that so far here in game one. As Chris to the dribble, he can't hit the double tap here, just a bit too high up. Mayo doing a great job at forcing Chris into a position where he cannot find the net. And now he beats him on the dribble, 11-5, and this definitely is secured now. 31 seconds left, a 6-goal difference. Mayo is going to take game one, and this goal secures it.
Yeah, if you're Chris here, the next 30 seconds, I mean, what's your plan? What do you do to try to counteract what Mayo's doing in this game? Because, I mean, clearly Mayo did not get off to the start that maybe they were looking for, not a fast start at all. Chris was far more aggressive, but we could argue that the aggressiveness may have cost him this game here.
I don't think it was the aggressiveness, it was the fact that Mayo was able to heat things back up and really kind of get warm early here. I think for Chris, it's just going to come down to kind of forgetting about game one ever happened. I mean, he's got the ability to beat Mayo, even if this game really doesn't show much of it. I just think the answer is going to be that Chris just needs a better, a better feeling game. Game one wasn't it for him. I think he's got the ability to beat Mayo. He's shown he's got the ability to beat Mayo. I just think this game wasn't really it for him.
Yeah, like we said before, I mean, these games can get out of hand really quickly, especially with those kickoff goals all going in a row, and then you find yourself with a deficit, you get a little bit more aggressive, and it can turn into a negative feedback loop. So congrats to Mayo on taking this game one. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Mayo. They certainly made all the plays that they needed to. We've just, I think we just saw a little bit of rushed gameplay and sloppiness from Chris as well that led to some of that. But other than that, I mean, the game started to get close there in the middle, and then those 3 kickoff goals just really kind of put it out of hand.
Yeah, those kickoff goals definitely made a difference in this game, as you said already. Both these players had 13 shots. Mayo scored 11. Chris only scored 5. So we go to game 2. Up next here, Mayo looking to keep this going. Again, reminder, Zrsty waiting in the grand finals to play against the winner of this matchup. So our grand finals is already half confirmed. The other half will be determined from this. For Mayo, coming in this one, kind of made the joke that he was a low-seeded player in this tournament, wasn't even going to get past the first round. Now he's in the semifinals, and he's one game up against ChrisWithaK. Mayo, if he can continue how he's playing, he might be in the grand finals despite even his own opinions.
Yeah, and that might build some confidence in his gameplay for the future. I mean, I've definitely gone into tournaments not sure if I would make it any further, and my team was able to put it together. So you never really know. The thing about Rocket League is, the stats on paper can make a little bit of a difference, but the games still have to be played. As Chris is going to take this one here early with a good clear and gets it around Mayo. Mayo trying to fight back, but Chris was just able to push that down out of the way, and Chris is going to strike early here, 18 seconds in, 4:42 left in this Game 2 matchup.
Oh, yeah, better start for Chris than last game was, so that'll be a good feeling, because that was something that Chris struggled with last game. As you said, there was a bit of sloppiness last game, a few things that didn't go Chris's way. One of it was the very start of that game, where he really couldn't get a goal at all, and it was Mayo who got that first goal almost a minute into the game, so Chris, a better start, can really make this count, as now a chance for a 2-goal lead, a lot of room given. Mayo giving him the entire field right now. Chris can really use this, and he will as well. Way too much space given by Mayo, and Chris takes it.
Yeah, that was just a really good, really smart play by Chris, taking what was given to him and got that momentum, put that ball where if Mayo gets to it, it may still kind of carry in, and we saw right there it did, and a good upper 90 goal there, Chris, with that 2-goal lead, 4:20 left. Mayo with a good kickoff here, though. It's going to be in front of blue net. Chris is going to try to get back. Chris just not able to get an angle to push it off, and Mayo is going to open up right here with a really good kickoff goal, and I got to say, I think that has been the strength of Mayo, the bread and butter, if you will, the kickoff goals.
Hey, the kickoff goals help you. They all count the same, right? It doesn't matter how good they look. It doesn't matter how they go in. They all count the exact same as everyone else, so Mayo will happily take those kickoff goals when they come here, but no boost left. Can't take the kickoff goal on this play. Chris just doing a good job at just taking all the boost, forcing Mayo back again. Now in the dribble, Chris, options. Oh, he missed it! Mayo's got a chance to go the other way. Chris has got to recover. Mayo's got to recover as well. This one towards the net. Mayo waiting. Chris committed for this play. Has to go for the boost. Will take it, but the back post is open. Mayo knows, trying to go front post. Chris never gave him the opening. And Mayo, who had his chance to go back post, wanted to wait to see what Chris would cover. We'll see his angles cut away, and now see his net scored on. Chris with a third this game, taking his time and really letting Mayo kind of show what he wanted to do.
Yeah, Chris took control of that, put that ball up and out of the way where Mayo really couldn't get to it, not enough momentum and probably not enough boost, and just pushed it around. I mean, that's like a classic Rocket League bully ball move, is just showing your opponent that you're going to take the ball right to them and put it around him. Mayo with a little bit of a mistouch there. It's a race back. Chris able to get there, playing maybe a little bit more cautiously this time. Didn't drive around the ball, definitely stopped it. Mayo's pushing up on it. Chris is able to get there. It's going to go back mid. Chris has to wait on this. And Mayo is going to get that touch. That ball hung in the air, and I don't think Chris was able to read it as well as he wanted to. Good upper 90 play there, but just a little bit high for Chris there. Back to his defensive zone. Ball's going to get touched and carried in front. Dangerous play. Gets it clear off the wall. Fighting Mayo. Mayo meets it, but it's going to bounce out towards the center. Chris with a demo, and we haven't seen any demo plays yet in this matchup, but a very strong demo there from Chris. Kind of takes Mayo out of position, and this ball here staying in the orange zone for now, and a possible goal here as it is going to float in. Chris takes that one. The confidence here from Chris has been fantastic.
Yeah, and he's really putting Mayo under pressure. Mayo has to chase after the game now because he's down by so many. He has to essentially chase Chris. That's why he went for that challenge. I think ordinarily, if this game was even, let's say, Mayo's not challenging that. But because he's down, he feels the pressure that he has to challenge. That he has to win something this game. When in reality, that is a mistake every single time. So Mayo, oh, he almost got that one. Chasing after Chris right now, chasing after this game. Starting to make more mistakes because the pressure's on him.
Yeah, you know, and the clutch factor is really going to come into play here. You know, how can you clean it up? How can you get it back around? The double touch didn't go there. It almost turned it into a triple touch. Both players are going to miss that ball. Chris still chasing around Mayo. Mayo's going to work on getting it clear. Got it in the corner. Got the big boost. Going to push it down. Play it off the wall. Play it off the ceiling. It's going to bounce down and around. Chris with an excellent catch, and Mayo back on the defensive. Chris with a good flick. Mayo's going to turn that one away. Ball rolling up and around. Chris was not quite able to get back to it the way they wanted to, but they're going to turn it around and turn it into another goal here. 4-goal lead, a minute 50 left. Still plenty of time, but Mayo has got to be a little bit stronger on the challenges, I would say.
Yeah, this game is the irony is that this is the exact same way that Chris wanted to play in Game 1. It just is that in Game 1, Chris maybe didn't have as much confidence, didn't want to play nearly as, quickly, didn't have nearly as much control. Game 2 feels exactly the same as Game 1. It doesn't feel like Chris has really changed anything. They're just, feeling a lot better now. Whatever Game 1 was, they clearly didn't let that affect them, and coming into Game 2, Chris proving that the style he had in Game 1 does work. It just is that he needs to get a little bit of a better start, not lose the kickoffs completely, not play nearly maybe as sloppily. And as you can see, when he's playing his playstyle cleanly, Mayo is going to, have a tough time really winning much of anything, nonetheless winning games in this series.
Yeah, and Chris with a good cut there. I mean, that play in the corner was just absolutely masterful. Jumped up, pinched that ball back towards the net, able to turn it around, and Mayo just was not able to read that ball. Chris with the lightest touch to put it behind Mayo, and Mayo had to take a second to reset, and unfortunately, there was just enough time for that ball to roll, and I think we've all been there sideways on the goal line before, as Chris is going to get this kickoff goal, and we are going to Brazil with 1:08 left. 7-1 for ChrisWithaK. Good read on the kickoff, and just going to punch that one into the open net.
And I think for Mayo, it's the same thing that I would recommend Chris from Game 1. It's going to be, forget about this game, forget that it ever happened. Because clearly this is one where Mayo just could not seem to get things rolling. A lot of it came down to the fact that they weren't exactly ready for Chris's playstyle from Game 1, and clearly they aren't ready for it in Game 2 either. They're getting outpaced, they're definitely getting outplayed at times. Chris really using that speed to great effect, and unlike in Game 1 where he kind of stopped playing that way after he realized in the first minute it wasn't really going to work that well, Now in game 2, he's gone right back to it, and, well, clearly he is now proving that it does work. It just is that he's got to make sure that he really does trust fully that he can play with speed, play with pace, and really play with consistency, which is something that he didn't have in game 1.
Yeah, the consistency's been there, and the touches have pretty much been a lot more confident and consistent like we talked about, and you can see that there with just that good carry goal in. Gonna pop it down, dribble it one way, fake it off, push it the other way, and Mayo sideways on the goal line, just not able to do anything again. And I was gonna say, I think that Mayo is finding himself kind of sideways in the net more than maybe he wants. Maybe a good drift or a good speed break there might make a little bit more of a difference than trying to go north-south on an east-west plane. But this one here gets touched in the side. Chris pushes it down, 15 seconds left. I think we can confidently say that Chris is going to take game number 2, and almost had another one there, stopped it, let the clock run out. I would argue half-decent sportsmanship to not run up the score, but this one's going to touch down, and Chris with a dominant game 2. I think that Chris will lead by goal differential right now, even though they're tied 1-1, because he's scored 7 there. So I would say that the goal diff would be 15-12. It should be up by about 3.
Yeah, it would be around that amount. And by the way, his name's not Chris with a dominant win. It's Chris with a K. But anyways, sorry, bad joke. But anyways, game 2 over. Thanks for laughing. We go to game 3 here, and both these players are now proving that they can win in these matchups. Again, the question I have, and it's the question that these players are going to have as well. It's going to be, well, is there consistency? Is there consistency with how these players want to play? Because right now, we haven't really seen it from them. They both have proven they are not as consistent as maybe we first thought. Do they have consistency with how they want to play this series?
Yeah, it's all about that start too. You get off to a bad start and you go down a couple goals, like we said. It's just gonna spiral. And we really kind of saw that. Mayo was making the plays, but Chris realized the weaknesses quickly and was able to exploit those. So we'll have to see how this game 3 goes. It's basically a blank slate. You can look at this as a best of 3 series at this point, with both matches there going back and forth.
Well, how this thing has gone, we go to game 3 here with match point on the line for both these players. So Chris with a K and Mayo, if they wanted to win a game badly, this is the game that they will definitely want to win badly, because this is a huge advantage to go up in the series at this point. And really all you want to get is a good start. If you're either of these players, Mayo will get that. Not the way he expected it to, but it will act as a fake 8 seconds in. And, well, it gets through Chris. That's the outcome he looked for. Doesn't really matter how it gets there to begin with.
Yeah, I believe we would call that a tactical whiff. You missed it, but it still did what it wanted to do. So good on Mayo there for sticking with that and keeping going. It definitely threw Chris off on that goal line, but Chris with another good charge. Mayo's going to get there, but that touch may have put him out of place. Chris going for the double touch, and just another high touch for Chris, not getting those bounces to drop the way that they're looking for. The ball really just kind of stayed in the air and hovering back there. Chris was going to drive around that one with a little bit of boost. Going to deflect this one around into the corner. Good touch there after picking up the big boost. He's going to carry it up, rotating in the air to burn off a little bit of speed, but Mayo reads it perfectly, pushing it up the field, gets a good flick off of it. Chris is going to drop that down, but Mayo was not able to get back to that one for the read, but this one could end up being an opener, and it is. Chris just drove past it. Good fake by Mayo, and Mayo up 2-0, 4:07 left. This series has really been back and forth here, Sporty.
It has been, and the reason why Chris can't turn around there is as well as he flipped into the play. He was so behind Mayo. He was so worried about that initial shot. He looked for the pre-flip play to get back to net. Unfortunately, when you flip, you commit yourself to that position. You commit yourself to where you're going. So that means for Chris, he can't turn around. He can't stop himself before it's far too late. Mayo, 2 goals up this game. A strong start, just like very similar in many ways to a strong start in game 1, just a quicker start here. And yeah, it's back and forth, really proving that these players really can't find consistency who's going to win this thing. It is just that close as Mayo, the dribble. Good room's got the back post open. We'll go for the flick, but no power on it. Chris will keep it away. Mayo chased down. He's got to be careful about getting demoed. He will get it taken out here. Chris with the room. A chance to go to net. Mayo on the other side. He will not challenge in time, but he won't need to. Chris backed himself into a corner. Couldn't make anything happen. And Mayo, from here on out, will at least get these blocks and at least force Chris to have to go through him to get that net, rather than have the opening in front.
Ooh, good touch there by Chris. It's going to bounce in front of the goal line, but now able to get back to it. I think the positioning has been a little bit dangerous. Chris finding himself kind of behind the ball and not between Mayo and the net, which is really a dangerous place to be, especially in ones where there's no teammate or no defender back there. But Chris is just barely going to miss that one, and Mayo going to get that third goal here. Going to go up 3-0 with 2:51 left, and yeah, Mayo just a good shot there, but Chris not able to get to it, missed it by maybe a half a bumper.
Yeah, and the difference there is that recovery from Mayo. I don't know if you saw that recovery, but that was maybe a perfect recovery. Mayo was sideways. He got tripped up. Chris did a great job at removing Mayo from the play, and somehow Mayo still got back on what was a pretty impressive recovery here as well. Chris still looking for his first goal this game, but man, it feels like it's the early start that really determines these games. We have not seen these players come back. We really have the semblance of a comeback in this one as Mayo flip reset. Oh, that's beautiful. Halfway through this game, Mayo with a little flip reset. It wasn't perfect, but it does its job. Gets right behind Chris, and he does what he needs to do to get this fourth goal and a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, you could see that Mayo was trying to get one of those pretty much all series so far, and finally able to get the touch they were looking for, and that one just going right into the net and looking beautiful. Chris is going to leave this one on the side, try to draw Mayo out, and does. Chris is going to try to drop that one in, but Mayo just getting really good positioning. The confidence from Mayo this game has been off the charts. I mean, they've had an answer for everything, and it's been really great. The consistency, like we said, just for both players hasn't necessarily been there, and even matches so far, or odd number matches have gone to Mayo at this point in time, but it's only a 4-goal lead. Mayo's going to play this one off the wall. Takes a little bit of an awkward bounce. Chris is going to push that up. Can he get it around Mayo? He can't. I liked what they were doing there, but just not able to get enough power on it. Going to pop it around, but Chris is going to get demoed by Mayo there, who has to turn back on the ball, push it back to its own corner, grabs the big boost back there, but Chris is there, going to put it down towards the net. Mayo able to scoop that one off the wall and get it around. Trying to play it back, got to slow it down a little bit. Gonna get there, but Chris not leaving any space. They're gonna battle Mayo with a misflip, and Chris on the board with 125 left and looking good. Mayo was trying to get a touch there and just flipped into space. That one's gonna hurt.
I complimented Mayo earlier about those recoveries, but that's not one I'm going to compliment him for. That's one where the recovery didn't work so well for him. Simply put, he's going to use a little bit more power slide on that play, but that's the first goal of the game for Chris. This has been 3.5 minutes of torture, I would say, for Chris. This has not been a pleasant experience so far, and although he's got a goal here and he has a chance to come back, the fact that it's taken him this long to get this first goal is a worrying sign for Chris, because with how well they played last game, the fact that they couldn't score at all for this amount of time really is only going to make things worse. But Mayo's giving it an open net. Chris on trying to find that comeback. He's en route right now as another play where Mayo just, I don't know what that is. He missed the ball is all I'm going to say. And that is a open net for Chris. One that I don't think he even was expecting, because Mayo really should have had control there.
Yeah, just an unfortunate mistouch, and we're down to a 2-goal game with a minute left. I mean, this one, I won't say wide open, but Chris's chances of winning are going up a little bit here, and may go up even more. Oh, ball just a little bit off. They had Mayo behind him, and Mayo being back there may have bumped him and thrown that ball off, but Chris is fighting this one here. It's going to float back to midfield. Both players maybe driving around it. Chris leaving some space, but Mayo gets caught off guard and out of the way. Chris is going to have to turn on this if he wants to score this one. Mayo's there, gets a touch by Chris. Mayo is going to clear this one down. Good long clear. Not on net, though. That one probably could have put the game away, but now Chris pushing up the other way. 20 seconds left. You get one here, and you get a kickoff goal and could make the difference, but no. Mayo standing fast in the defense there. Chris trying to turn this one back around. Time running out of the hourglass for this game, and it looks like Mayo more than likely going to go up match point.
This is now guaranteed. No matter what happens at the end of this game, Mayo will lead 2-1. Our last series kind of went this way, and it ended in Game 5. This seems like a very likely position to be in, but another game where Mayo just gets off to an amazing start, and he just holds on the lead from then. 14 shots this game for Chris with a K. Only 2 goals. That offense just has not been consistent for both these players. And unfortunately for Chris, it hasn't been consistent here in Game 3, and that's why he's down in the series.
Yeah, and the 2 saves, I think, is going to be like the big thing, too. I mean, Mayo, even though he scored 4 goals, also had 8 saves. Just right place, right time, making those defensive plays. And unfortunately for Chris, missing a few of those or not being in position for a few of those is going to make the difference there. And we've seen it. So we'll have to see how Chris can answer in this matchup, this Game 4 match point for Mayo. If Mayo wins, moves on to the grand finals. But Chris, fighting for his life here in this matchup, and this one instantly a kickoff goal going to go towards Mayo for Mayo here. And it's going to go the other way. Good shot, but it's off the post. Running into Chris. Both players bouncing off of each other here as this ball goes right back into the orange zone. Mayo with a touch, touches it out. Chris going to catch it, but it deflected out far enough that I think Mayo was able to get back to it. This one's going to go back towards the net. Mayo, maybe a little bit of a misflip there. Had a good recovery, but not able to get under the ball when it counted. Chris with a good touch there. Fighting in the midfield. Chris is going to try to get this around Mayo, but Mayo with a tactical bump. Good little flip there. Chris fights for it, but it's going to bounce up still in front of the net. Who gets back to it first? It's going to be Chris. Off the sidewall. Good long shot. Mayo had to get back to that one and did, and that was good. You missed that one. That one might hurt. I mean, that was a shot from half field, Sporty.
Yeah, it was, and considering that the first goal so far each game has been from the player that eventually would win it, that first goal really does make the difference. It could really be what makes the difference here, considering that this is the way that these players want to compete here, as Chris trying to force play Mayo out of position, but Mayo, good job not giving him anything to work with. Now Chris, with room, outplays Mayo initially. Now we do it again on the dribble. Behind Mayo, still behind Mayo. Trying to move around Mayo, but maybe one too many moves there. Mayo will clear it away, and just gonna look for all that boost. He actually maybe could have challenged here, but that's what Chris wanted. Mayo again just waiting. Hasn't really had any way to break out of defense just yet. Chris forcing Mayo out, and Mayo has to basically play the way that Chris wants him to, and this is only going to mean that he's going to be playing into what Chris wants him to do, and playing into what Chris wants to do for the rest of this game. So Mayo, they got to play smart here. Good challenge in front. Chris on the recovery. Real clear, but not well. Mayo was waiting. It's been almost 2 full minutes of gameplay, but the deadlock will be broken. Chris was panicked into that clear. Mayo played it right to him, and it will be an open net. Mayo has the first goal again. Almost 2 full minutes of goallessness, but it's Mayo who gets the first goal. And considering how this series has gone, that first goal might already determine who wins this matchup.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't count Chris out just yet. Good flick there off the wall, but just not enough. And you were right about that clear. Maybe a little bit of panic from Chris, as that one's going to go in for Mayo. They're going to 2-0. Once that dam gets broken, it really seems to make a difference. Once that first goal goes in, the rest of them just kind of make their way into the net. But yeah, Chris was just maybe a split second too fast for that clear, and instead of taking it off the nose, takes it off the side of the ball, drops down. Mayo gets that first one, and then Mayo right away with a second one here. Chris finding himself out of position again, gets another touch, and Mayo with these kickoff goals, like we said, just in a dangerous spot for Chris now. 3-0 for Mayo. Gets a good touch there, and Chris got a touch, but again, just not the one they were looking for, and it's going to go right into the net. Got to be a little bit more deliberate with those touches, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely here, and I think for Chris, just the kickoffs again having been proven to be an issue already. This is a bad time for it to kind of show up as an issue again, and another game, by the way, where Chris just isn't scoring very early. They are really having a tough time getting goals. Last game only scored once. It took them maybe almost 4 minutes to get that first goal. It took them a long time last game to get that first goal. This game, we're already halfway through, and again, Chris with no goals. So Chris really struggling to get on the net, getting on the board early here, but he'll find the flick and find the goal there. So I had to talk him into it a little bit here, but Chris, after over 2.5 minutes of gameplay, with his first goal of this Game 4, he now needs 2 more at least, because if he loses this game, his run's over. He needs at least 2 more goals to force overtime and give himself a chance to stay alive in the series.
Yeah, and you can't let any more in either. Right now, the deficit is 2, but it could definitely expand the way that we've seen this play. And I gotta say, I think Chris maybe stopped, took a breath, took a break, and started not necessarily rushing everything. Good demo play there. Gonna turn this one around. push this into the net, and the tactical demo there working out in Chris's favor. Good demo there, slows down, catches that ball, and then gets a chance to push it into the net. I mean, like I said, just slowing down, take a breath, and being a little bit more deliberate in the touches. Don't try to rush things. That's how you kind of fall behind early, I'd say.
Well, he's fell behind early in this game, but only a 1-goal difference. Mayo, they put under a lot of pressure, has not scored in a little while, as now looking for number 4. Oh, he's really kind of pushed himself out of position, and without any boost, Chris to tie it! It's in! 3 goals straight from Chris with a K, and Mayo, who has not scored for a couple minutes now, putting himself out of position. It feels so similar to Game 2. It feels like he's chasing after it now, because Chris has got momentum, and he doesn't, and when Mayo doesn't have that momentum, he starts to do things that he really shouldn't be.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly, and we've all seen momentum play a big factor, especially in these ones games where it's just a good string of goals, and Mayo's going to answer real quickly here. 138. Must have heard you talking about how he hadn't scored in a few minutes. Just out here doing what he needs to do, bouncing it, shooting it into the net, and Chris just a split second too late on that clear attempt. Had a chance, really, but I think he was a little late getting to the boost, and that one's going to go in for Mayo. 138 left, and it's a 1-goal game. Chris really just fighting for his life at this point. Can't let Mayo get open there, though. This one's going to go back. Chris trying to put this one over Mayo. It's going to stay in the orange zone. Back to it, but I think Mayo might beat him to this ball. Just a little bit of a touch, maybe a little bit of a carry. Got to be careful with those plays. Chris is going to get up for that one and push it down and out, but Mayo driving towards the corner and giving a little bit of a chase instead of, trying to watch that space and that defensive positioning. But that one's going to go to the middle. Mayo's going to miss that one. It's going to be out and up. Mayo on the side of the net. Falls off sideways. Chris with a really good opportunity here, but can't capitalize. Took a little too much time, and Mayo is going to be there. Mayo with a good shot here. Chris gets a chance to turn it away. I wasn't sure how that one was going to go. We've seen Chris be a little late on some of those. Ball in the middle there. Mayo turns. That ball is just going to go straight to the net, and Mayo is going to go up 2 goals, 39 seconds left in Chris's series if he can't find 2 and tie this one up.
Well, a little bit of fortune for Mayo, too. Not only does he get the bump on Chris, he bumps Chris into that play, so a little bit of fortune for Mayo, but considering how he's been playing this game, he's been doing pretty well at, again, forcing Chris to chase. Chris, who himself has done pretty well in the last half of this game to get goals, just couldn't find anything easy in the first half, and now he's given an open net. Mayo's going to take another, and I worry this might be it for Chris and his tournament run.
Yeah, he had one good game there, but like we said before, the consistency just hasn't necessarily been there, and taking a little bit too much time to score. Maybe not the sense of urgency that you might be looking for Chris, but I mean, still played in it, still played well, and Mayo has definitely capitalized on pretty much everything. And in a ones tournament, that's really all you can hope for, but Chris is going to fight back here. 23 seconds left, and don't know how much he's going to be able to get. Probably not much, as Mayo's just going to dunk that one in. 4-goal lead, 18 seconds left. This one looking more and more difficult by the day, but depending on how this next kickoff goes, and depending on how much time goes off the clock, there's still like the smallest butterfly eyelash of a chance here.
Well, I mean, for Chris, unfortunately, though, this kickoff, while he does win it, does not go well here. Mayo is going to let Chris play the way he wants to, because he knows there's not enough time left to really make the comeback. One last save for Mayo. Chris's run will end in the semifinals, and for Mayo, who said initially he wasn't even going to get it past the first round, is now into the grand finals to play against Zrsty.
Yeah, just a magnificent run there and magnificent play. I mean, I'll say this. I think that the defense from Mayo is what made the difference. We talked about the saves in the other games, especially with Chris not being able to score early, and really, like I said, that defensive play makes all the difference. If they're if they're putting shots on net and you're getting in front of them, that works out. But if they're, not even getting the opportunity to make shots, or you're not getting the opportunity to make shots, it's going to be a completely different game. That stifling defense can make a very, very good. It can make a very big difference.
It definitely can make quite the difference here. So, our bracket now and our grand finals is confirmed. Mayo will be rejoining us to take on Zrsty in the grand finals. So, Zrsty, who has been waiting quite a while. I'm sure he'll be happy now that he finally gets his chance to compete. So we're going to go to a little break. When we come back, we'll have the grand finals for you. Zrsty versus Mayo. Welcome back to the FDL Frontier Doubles League Lone Frontier Elite Division. This is the finals now, as it stands. Zrsty, he's been waiting a while here for this matchup. Now he gets his chance to play in the grand finals against Mayo in our last match of the evening. This is it, grand finals. I mean, Mayo had to work to get here. Zrsty got a couple buys, got a couple forfeit wins. Now he gets his chance to win this thing. He's been waiting all night, and considering how late it is for Zrsty, I think he's pretty happy that he finally gets to play his match.
Yeah, I would say so, but you got to wonder how warmed up he is. I mean, probably out there playing a little bit, but maybe not necessarily the same style or the same level as Mayo. Mayo coming off a really good win there, really good series, and got momentum really on his side.
Definitely did. A little bit of momentum, a little bit of help here in Mayo with that 3-1 win over ChrisWithaK earlier. Now we got our grand finals as well. So this will be yet another best of 5 to determine our champion tonight here. As again, these players definitely looking to try to perform the best they can. And I mean, it's another best of 5, another series that could take its time here. We'll see how these players feel overall, but it looks like everything's good to go, and it looks like these players are going to jump right back in. So Zrsty on the blue, Mayo retaking his spot on the orange, and a little best of 5 here as Zrsty will win the ball. I don't know if that was... Are they doing the server check? I think they still think they're doing the server check. So really a little bit here. I think they're just going to do the server check, so... we'll give them a little bit of time, but I think they're doing a server check right now. Clearly, they're both pretty happy so far, and I don't think this is going to count as game 1. But anyways, while we let them kind of do whatever they're doing here as well for what might be the next 5 minutes. Zrsty jumping in. He's an EU player, definitely going to have quite the time, quite a interesting time as well here. You know, playing it from EU, he's playing on some... He's playing, you know, for, you know, with it being pretty late. Ping's not going to be the biggest issue for him. It's going to be the timing. It's like 3, 4 a.m. for him. It's pretty late for him. Although apparently it's not that It's not that unnormal for him. But it's pretty late. And generally speaking, at this time of night, when you're this late, you know, with your circadian rhythm kind of at its low, it's really tough to make the right decisions. So Zrsty in let's say an intensive game mode like ones, where he has to make a lot of good decisions, definitely going to, he's definitely going to need to kind of make sure that he is feeling all good and he's making the right decisions in this series.
Yeah, I think that like you said, just being the timing might be something that makes a little bit of a difference. But if this is something they do pretty often, they might not have too much of an issue.
Yes, again, we'll let these players kind of take their time to continue, but it seems like this lobby is going to work well for them here. So if that's the case, then but yeah, these players are going to let this game carry on. But for Zrsty and for Mayo, it's another pretty close matchup. Zrsty is the slight favorite, but I believe he's the 4th seed in this tournament, and Mayo is the 5th. So, again, Zrsty might be the favorite, as Mayo was the favorite last matchup, but we'll see how that plays out here in this one. And well, as we saw before, I think we're going to see a lot of the same once again. These players just trying to play the way that they want to. We saw before Mayo trying to play a pretty, you know, strong start. But again, I think the question I'm going to have, just like we did for the last series, are these players consistent? Is Mayo consistent? Is Zrsty consistent in this grand finals? That's really the question I have for them. Because ultimately, what's going to win this grand finals is not going to be kind of how you play. It's going to be how consistent you play at what you want to do.
Right, exactly. Consistency, kickoffs, and defensive positioning, I think, are probably the 3 top things to look for in this matchup. I mean, too much space, as we've seen, causes issues. Not enough space allows them to maneuver around you, and then just making sure that you're making the right touches.
You gotta make sure you do the right thing, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen plenty of touches kind of not necessarily go everybody's way, and either deflect into the net or deflect the ball down to give your opponent a shot. I mean, timing being very crucial here, especially at this level of Rocket League. I mean, it's not like a silver or a bronze where, you know, maybe you got a little bit of time. I mean, the Elite League is going to follow up, and they are going to follow up fast.
Yeah, as you mentioned as well here, that again, these players ready for their grand finals, ready for this matchup. Again, this is to win the to be one of the winners of the FDL Lone Star tournaments. Again, this being for the Elite Division. Earlier, we saw the Star League play the matchup. We got to see their grand finals. That went to a game 5. I do ask now, as well here, ConwayTwtchy, do you think this is going to be a game 5 series?
It's going to depend on how Zrsty comes out, really. That's going to make the main difference. I mean, we've seen how Mayo can play. We've seen how Mayo gets off to a start. That is going to make the difference. And the first goals, obviously, first 1-2 goals, depending on how fast they end up in this game, will make the difference. But I like to think, I go into every series kind of thinking that any series can be a game 5 series. It's just going to depend on the play on the field and the timing and momentum and everything like that.
Well, as we're just about ready to get our series underway here. Again, these players have been taking this. They have just been taking this game to kind of check to make sure the ping's good. But again, the ping's good for them. Apologies for this delay, as we are just again waiting for this kind of ping check to end, and actually get our first game underway with both these players ready. But again, Zrsty taking on Mayo. Zrsty himself again has had two forfeit wins to get to this point. Mayo only has had one. He's had to win his last matchup, but seeing how these players have wanted to play, I'm sure that, again, they'll be pretty happy here as Zrsty forgot to score. We'll let him do that, and we'll let this one end here. So that is going to be our little ping check. Again, these players have been taking the full 5 minutes to check to make sure their ping is all good. And these players are, I think, more than happy now. We'll get to go into our grand finals just after this. So, Zrsty and Mayo. Again, apologies to all of you who've been watching, who have had to wait now with this delay. Obviously, these players are ready as well. Hopefully all of you are ready as well to get into the grand finals.
Ready up here and jump right in. I am very excited to see, like, this I don't want to say this first kickoff is going to set the tone, but really we've kind of seen that make the difference, you know?
It definitely has. The first goal has made a difference, although we'll see if that is true. That's usually not true in 1v1 games. It's just so happened to be true the last series. I don't think it's going to stay true for here, but if Zrsty can get that first goal, we saw Mayo before, he has that tendency to sometimes fall apart. That first goal could really do a number on him if if Zrsty's able to get off to a strong start.
Yeah, if Mayo gets behind, I mean, we've definitely seen Mayo do maybe not the touches they're looking for, but this one's good kickoff. It's going to go over to the right side of the field. Good shot there from Zrsty, but Mayo clears it out. Good recovery. Gets it back, carrying the ball up the field. Zrsty's there. Mayo's going to get it around. Zrsty had really good positioning, but man, Mayo just stuck with it. That was just a really good play, and then bopped it right in. I thought it was a little closer on Zrsty's end, but now that I see that replay, it was not as close as I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zrsty was expecting Mayo to try to do the little pop behind, which you sometimes see on that play where you go one side and then take it to the other. Mayo, recognizing Zrsty jumping early, just went for the fake instead. Essentially said, well, Zrsty gave me his opening, and Mayo just taking his goal here as he is now 1 goal up. So Mayo off to a strong start here as Zrsty looking for a goal to answer. No, that's not a great touch from Mayo, and this is going to be a free goal for Zrsty. Mayo went directly towards net, and that's why on defense you generally don't want to go directly towards your net like this, because if they shoot it at you, it's really tough. Really, the only thing that Mayo can do there is sort of pop the ball off his back wall. Even that is going to be really tough from that angle.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough momentum for a deflection that would do that sort of thing, so that play was not the way you really want that to go. You're right, usually you come at that from some sort of angle so that you can push it around, and the backboard play even can be dangerous because with Zrsty being right there, there's a chance that one still probably gets double touched in anyways. Good defensive touch there by Zrsty. Mayo makes a touch, but this one racing back, and Zrsty's still going to get to it. They collided on the way back and just kept each other directed towards the net here. Just boop, right there, kept Zrsty in it. Zrsty may have missed if Mayo wasn't there, and maybe that one doesn't go in the way that did, but Zrsty up 2-1, 4:04 left, and both players scoring this early so far actually kind of surprises.
Well, I mean, I think last game really was more surprising considering that they took so long to score. As save from Zrsty, he almost put himself out of position early here as he was going to look for a 3-1 lead. Mayo's not going to give him it that easily, but yeah, early goals should be the norm. We just didn't have that last series as Zrsty is trying to run away. Mayo's going to take the boost and go downfield for some offense here as high pop. Mayo setting himself up for a dribble down the field. Up he goes. Looking for that flip reset. He had one last series, but this one won't fall to his favor. Zrsty's going to pop it out, force Mayo to commit, and allow himself. Oh, he missed the boost. That's a wide open net for Mayo. Zrsty missed the boost, and Mayo had a lot more time because of it. That is a tie game.
Yeah, Mayo just reads this perfectly, and Zrsty not able to get back, and that's going to tie it up. 3:21 left. This game has been a really good matchup so far.
It's been close. It's been competitive. And now it's tied at 2 goals each. Zrsty. Perfect. Mayo will be there as well. As, again, this being the Elite Division, all these players of GC free at rank range, and I'm trying to really utilize that in the Grand Finals as Mayo. Dribble. It got Zrsty off guard. We've seen Zrsty go for the boost a couple times. Back to defense. I think that's what Mayo was expecting there, but Zrsty already had boost. Won't need to commit back. And a little bit of a lull now in the goal scoring. A little bit more back and forth, a little bit more kind of even. Nothing crazy yet, but somebody's got to score. Somebody's got to break that deadlock and take that lead, and that somebody's going to be Mayo, as he's used another little cut in front move. And every time he's in front of the net like this, where he's taking his time, Zrsty just kind of overthinks it, and Mayo, he's done so well that when an opening is given to him, he just takes it.
Yeah, it was a good play, good flick, good patience. I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about, and Mayo with a little bit of consistency here that we saw a little bit of in the last series, but not much. But this one really coming out swinging. I think that Zrsty's touches and kind of like confidence really kind of helps Mayo know what to play. You know, I think we've all played with folks that when you're playing against them, you're not sure what they're doing or what their next move is going to be, and it just makes it difficult. You know, if you're trying to save shots, but the person keeps whiffing, you kind of start second guessing that, as Mayo's going to get a good open net here. Zrsty with a good demo, but Mayo just reads that ball, takes it right off the backboard. Zrsty out of position. Mayo right here with a good nose bump to just get it right out of the reach of Zrsty, and goes up 2-0. For not thinking they were going to make it out of the first round, Mayo has played exceptionally well in the last two series.
Yeah, I think Mayo now realizing that he needs to go a bit of confidence now, because this is definitely going to be a tournament that would allow his confidence to go back, even if he doesn't win. He's already made quite the impressive impression, getting to the Grand Finals, beating ChrisWithaK at this point. But Zrsty, oh, that's a big bump. He's just missed the net, but he won't miss this one. And, I mean, it's close. Mayo has not exactly run away with this game like he did the last time around. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be one where we're not going to have nearly as many one-sided affairs.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, and that was just a tough position for Mayo, making a touch on the ball and then getting bumped to the wall. Thankfully, it was there to catch him, but that recovery just took a little bit too much time. Found himself out of position and just was not able to get back over to that ball, but good challenge there. That one's going to pop up towards the corner. Zrsty's there, going to play that ball, pops up for Mayo. Coming down to Waterfall, Mayo with a good shot, and Mayo going to take this one into the net. It's going to be a 5-3 game with 122 left, and the backflip plays here from Mayo getting just a little zesty.
And as mentioned as well, although you see there, you see what Zrsty's saying? They're saying it's 4 a.m., it's late, and as I said before, one of the issues with playing this late is that you're playing while tired, and when you're tired, you're not going to make the same decisions you would normally, but oh my goodness! What a flip reset! Forget about making bad decisions. That's just an amazing strike. No chance Mayo stops that.
No, it was a really good carry, and Mayo just didn't get up in time. But then if you get up too early, they can just kind of drop it down around. It's pretty interesting. This one is hopping up and over, going to the blue side. Zrsty gets there first. Mayo challenging. Gonna stay in the corner there. Mayo still making plays and fighting for this ball. This is probably going to become a little bit more of a possession game here for Mayo. Just keep Zrsty away from the net and keep him from making plays. That's a difficult one. Oh, Mayo had the touch. Not enough power, not enough angle, and Zrsty is going to score that one and tie this game up with 48 seconds. That one might hurt a little bit if that comes back to bite him.
That's a tough play for Mayo, because Zrsty's going for that bump. He essentially cuts off the easy angle that Mayo has to challenge that. So, Zrsty cutting out Mayo's angles. That's why Mayo can't make that touch. It's just a tough play to make. And it's one that he could make, but it's a very tough play to make. And, well, it's going to be tough to... Oh, as that bounced off the post, that could have been a goal for Mayo, but he's got to go back again. Zrsty. Maybe another original play will... Oh, he beat him! Mayo jumped in early. Oh, he just got enough on it, too. That could have been a 6-5 lead for Zrsty. Cleared away by Mayo. That could have been a lot worse as Zrsty's going to go back. Mayo staying close. Zrsty's going to get that clear. Mayo waiting. Zrsty with room. Up he goes. Double tap. Zrsty! Oh, it's kept out. Mayo saves it away, and he keeps this game going. How on earth does Mayo save that?
I don't know. It's like he read the indicator where that ball was going to bounce and just stayed there. And we go to overtime for the first time tonight here. At least for the first time in this elite matchup. That one's going to go over to the orange side. Mayo has to be careful. I mean, there was a couple times there where Zrsty really could have ended it. Mayo's positioning was not what they may have hoped for. Gonna have to be careful with this one. Good challenge getting back to Zrsty. Mayo with a good shot pops it over, but Zrsty's going to send this one away. Gets stuck in the net a little bit. Mayo turning on this one. Gonna cut it center, but Zrsty's there. It's up. It bounces up and over and down. Mayo is up. Gets it over Zrsty. Is that in the net? It is. Mayo with a really good challenge, a really good shot, and holy cow, they're gonna take this game one, but this was a dogfight. Each person maneuvering behind the other, trying to get those goals, and they sure did. I mean, there was no clear winner for most of that match.
Yeah, and that big save as well with 10 seconds left for Mayo. That save really did help him out here in this matchup, which I find so impressive as well. So often you see players try to make those saves, fail, or make them, and then can't get the next one, can't make it work. Mayo has found game one step closer to the winning this grand finals, but still a long road here for Mayo to go through. Still a long road for both these players to play through. It's only one game, and considering that being a best of 5 in a 1v1 matchup, one game isn't really going to make too much of a difference. You gotta keep playing if you're Mayo. You gotta keep finding consistency, and really more importantly, you gotta keep learning. Because with the way that Zrsty's playing, Mayo is far away from being any favorite in this matchup. There really is no favorites right now. These players still need to learn, still need to adapt, and still need to kind of play to kind of figure out how they're going to win this matchup.
Yeah, like you said, game one in the grand scheme of things maybe doesn't matter. Good shot by Mayo. That one's just going to be in. Gets it around Zrsty. Zrsty's positioning there, turning for that ball and just did not get the touch, maybe rushing it a little bit. Mayo able to scoop that one up and put it on the net, and that is the danger that you run into in one. You start trying to do big deflections and make big plays and make big touches, and holy cow, it is going to get away from you quickly. And that was our goal in the 20th second here in the first minute. Zrsty's going to pop that one over, but Mayo reads it good. Mayo not rushing any defensive plays this time. Momentum and learning from the last couple games certainly helping, as that one, oh my goodness, just rolls it down and dunks it in right over the defender.
And Zrsty just giving too much space.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is Zrsty maybe didn't need the challenge, or maybe needed to challenge that one and just didn't, and then caught sideways in the net again. I think you catch a little bit of a drift break there, and you turn your nose. You had plenty of time to do something with it, and that's what you're gonna need. Zrsty here play this one off, plays this back towards the net. That one finds himself in space. A good cut by Mayo, but Zrsty digging that one out of the goal line. We've seen some very good goal line defense from both of these players. That's a good bounce. It would have been a good bounce for Zrsty. Mayo with a dangerous play there. It's going to go out towards the corner and up and around. Zrsty's there. Going to make that touch. Bringing it up the field. Sending it. Ooh, almost gets it around the defender, but not quite. Going to have to regroup here. Pops it over. Pops it back towards the net, but not the right angle. Mayo with a good long clear here. Pushing it down the field. Zrsty backs off of that one in the corner, up around the defender. Mayo trying to recover. Zrsty with a good air carry, good touch, maybe trying to get the flipper there and can't, but Mayo fighting right back. Good defensive play here by Mayo. I like what we're seeing out of both of these players, and it's just calm, collected Rocket League. Zrsty having a really good opportunity here for an open net, going to take it down and is going to let that one roll in. Get on the board with 3:11 left, and it's still only a 1-goal game, but man, you would almost feel like it's a 1-1 just the way that they've been playing.
Well, I mean, to be fair for Mayo, he's done that a lot of times where he's tried to go in midfield like that, but every time he's done that, it hasn't really worked so well. Zrsty's has definitely done his reconnaissance, and after Mayo did that the first time in game one for the first goal, Zrsty has not given away since. Oh, but that's a big miss! It's wide open for Zrsty and Mayo. That is a gift wrapped with a bow on top. on for Zrsty, right to his front bumper. That is free, and my end for Mayo. For all the good things he's done, those last 2 goals have not been.
No, not been kind at all there, and you don't want to say giving the game away, but letting Zrsty get right back into it, and we've all seen how those goals can lead to kickoff goals and just kind of let things get out of hand. This one going around and up, Zrsty chasing that one around, but Mayo's got it. Gonna fight for it, stays in the orange side. Zrsty up, thinks back against it, leaving some space for Mayo, who has a long shot. Zrsty with a good deflection back out, but Mayo is there again. Mayo tried to go for the fake. Zrsty read it perfectly. That one's still in the corner, but Mayo is going to have to be very careful playing this over here.
He will, and he's just going to try to keep playing the offense here. It's not a great recovery. Zrsty's going to win boost. Mayo's going to go back to defense. He's going to go back quickly here. The shot is on! The shot is in! Zrsty takes the lead.
Yeah, he just fought for it there on the side. Mayo positioning not the greatest. Ball gets right over, gets behind, and at that point, you're just along for the ride. Nothing you can do there.
3 minutes done in this game. A lot more, still 2 more left to determine a winner, but just like game 1, it's going to be a battle until the very end of this thing. Mayo just fighting to stay alive. It's another whip, though. He whiffed earlier and gave Zrsty a goal. He's done it again here. Another unforced error from Mayo. And right now, that's what's hurting him here this game. It's not the plays that Zrsty's making. It's not tough mistakes. No, he's just making bad mistakes that he doesn't usually normally make.
Yeah, we saw a lot of good consistency and a lot of good play there from Mayo, and those last 4 unanswered really have just been Mayo beating Mayo. I mean, no, not to take anything away from Zrsty, but Zrsty making the plays that are offered up, and it's definitely helped out. And right there, that's the 5th unanswered for Zrsty. Going up 3 goals with 152, but Mayo still has time to turn it around. You just got to be a little more careful and a little more patient.
Yeah, I mean, patience is definitely something that you don't want to tell someone when they have only 2 minutes left and they're down in a game. But Mayo's got time; he's got to use it, and more importantly, Mayo's got the ability to beat Zrsty. He just hasn't shown it in this game. But there's a good chance here. As Zrsty out of position, Mayo can score from this place, and he will do that as a perfectly placed shot off the bar and in. Mayo can score from that position, and he does. And as you said it, he's got to be patient. He's got to be smart. If he can do both of that, I mean, this game is still very much within reach.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Still plenty of time. You got to be patient. You don't want to get too aggressive. Start making mistakes that can cost you. I mean, you don't want to give Zrsty any more goals than you already have. It took them a little while there to break that, and this one, unfortunately, is going to go all the way back for Zrsty again. Puts that lead right back up to 3 with 1:33 left, and that's what we were talking about, the patience. You just got to wait for the patience.
Hey, sometimes the plays will fall to you. You'll take them all when they get to you here. So Mayo, we didn't really know how to adapt to Zrsty's fake kickoff. It just plays it into Zrsty and where he wants him to be. So Mayo, 3 goals behind with a lot less time to make up now. Oh, it's an amazing challenge. What a play from Mayo. That's a perfect challenge, and one that I never even saw as a possibility there. Completely fools Zrsty, completely fools everyone out there. And that challenge was played amazingly well, and the only one who really knew about it was Mayo.
Yeah, it was a good backflip play. Backflip plays can be dangerous, but that one, works out for him. If he misses that ball, Zrsty's probably taking that and scoring, but gets a good recovery, which is something we have definitely praised all night for Mayo, is just the recoveries. But Zrsty there, on the goal line. That one's going to be up and out. Good defense there, not giving up on the play. This one back down around. Mayo's going for the cut, going for the fake, can't get it, but it's going to leave the ball in front of the net there. Zrsty with a good recovery. This one's up around the corner. Mayo again playing it up. Got to be very careful because Zrsty can read those like a book. That one's going to go across midfield to the other side of the ball, or to the other side of the field. Zrsty went for a boost and it almost cost him there. Able to just barely get a nose to that ball. This one getting sent back the other way, but Mayo keeping it in, fighting around for it. 30 seconds left. If he's going to score, he's got to do it quick so he has a chance to get that kickoff. That one's up and over. Zrsty making the play, but away from it, gonna drop it down for Mayo, who just calmly throws it into the net. And 18 seconds left. This kickoff is going to make the difference.
Yeah, you said it. Mayo's got to win possession. If he doesn't, that could be it for this game. Zrsty only one goal to separate these two to win in game 2. Mayo's going to win the kickoff. Great play to start out. He's got room as well. Zrsty not challenging. The shot is weak from Mayo. 10 seconds left. Zrsty actually kind of giving himself away here going down the field like this, but he finds that demo. He'll find the play. He'll find the net. And he'll find game 2 and even the scoreline.
Yeah, they've just been really back and forth here. Zrsty keeping possession of that ball and taking it down and in and putting this one away. A really even matchup. And again, we go into game 3 with basically a best of 2 series. Or, sorry, a best of 3 series.
It won't be. It might be a best of 2. We'll see how many games it takes, but a best of 3 definitely on the table here in our grand finals. So far, even again, we saw this before with Mayo when he played against ChrisWithaK, another matchup that went even early on. Just have to see here as as this series is getting closer and closer to deciding its winner. It's good. It's close. It's competitive. These games have not been decided by very much.
No, they have been very, very close. Like we had talked about before. Like, this really hasn't gotten away. I mean, Mayo took that game 1 that really could have gone either way. Zrsty here is going to put this one away with 1 second left on that last goal. I mean, it's been very, very close. Do not be surprised if this goes to a game 5, and realistically, the goals scored were nearly identical to the first count. So we should be looking at probably another 12-goal game between the two for this one. Now we've seen it kind of go the other way, where the games get lower scoring the further they go in, but I don't think that Zrsty is going to wait to score for 2 minutes, as we saw in the last.
No, he's not going to be waiting much longer. This is going to be one where both these players are going to get to net quite quickly here. As Mayo, he just wants a bit of a better start this game. Kind of get himself on the board a little, get himself not even a better start. He actually had a good start last game. He just needs to make sure he has a better middle part of the game, that he doesn't give Zrsty any reason to come back any more than he did last game. As outplay Zrsty, bumped out by Mayo. This is a wide open net though, and Zrsty will have it. First goal in for Zrsty.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were talking about before, is just watching those plays and watching those possessions and not getting caught out of position. And unfortunately, Mayo there just gets caught out of position, and they're going to open this one up with 4:35 left in the game, 1-0 for Zrsty. This one, a good touch there by Mayo to keep it on that side. Has Zrsty behind him, going to pinch it over towards the net. Zrsty goes and grabs that full boost. Zrsty's been really good about the rotations and getting to the boost. Not something that generally matters that much rotation-wise in a singles game. Keeping the boost is important, but the positioning has definitely been important there too, as they're going to get that second goal. And Mayo was just out of boost there. Used his last 10 on a dream, staying in front of the net, and unfortunately, that's what's going to cost him when Zrsty can get in the net, or get in the air. You don't have any boost. It's so hard to A, get back, and B, get to the net.
Yeah, it's so tough there, and Mayo, who really needed to win that corner boost, because he doesn't get back to net. Oh, what an outplay there. Mayo played up high, and Zrsty caught him on it. 3 goals straight for Zrsty, and for Mayo, he had the same issue last game where Zrsty just kept running goals up on him, and he had to stop him at some point. This game, it's the same thing, but it's in the first minute, and this is an amazing start reverse, and the best we've had from any player, any of these two players in this grand final so far.
Yeah, and it's all positioning. It just really seems like Mayo just leaving things go, and Zrsty with a really good save there. That was very, very close. Left it kind of open. Mayo with a little bit more mustard on that ball probably goes in, and we're not looking at a 3-0 game. Instead, now we're looking at a 4-0 game because, again, the positioning just not there. Mayo goes for this ball, can't get the recovery fast enough, and Zrsty's air control has been on point just getting right back to it and getting that ball in. Mayo falling down 4-0 early, but we have seen Mayo fight back. So we'll have to see what they can get going, as that one's going to go right in for Zrsty on a good kickoff goal. 5-0, 3:47 left. This one getting out of hand quickly here. Mayo's just going to have to be very careful with positioning and not letting Zrsty behind him with the ball, because that really seems to be the key here.
I think the goal for Mayo this game has now shifted. Instead of trying to win necessarily, I think it's about not letting Zrsty run away with this game, trying to slow him down in time for Game 4, because right now it does not look good for Mayo. It looks like a repeat of what we had from Game 2 last series around, and game didn't start out well for Mayo, and it didn't end out well for Mayo. This game for Mayo, I think the goal now is, instead of trying to get the win, just stop Zrsty from continuing this rampage.
Yeah, it's going to be little victories. You're probably not going to win this game right off the rip. You can get back into it, but you're going to have to play every single ball carefully. As a good play there, gets it around, but not able to get back to it. Good play there, good touch by Mayo to get that away from Zrsty. Little dangerous play sending it towards the net, but gets back to it. Mayo chasing this one. Zrsty's positioning has been pretty good, just pushing up the middle of the field. Not going straight for the ball, but trying to get between the player and the ball in the net. And that is really the key here for ones. I mean, like I said, you don't have that defender back. So if you can get back and get between the ball and the net, it's a good play. And Zrsty's just going to take that one in again. Mayo maybe caught in the corner there, coming off the wall. Took a little bit too sharp of an angle down, and that one's just going to get him down 7-0 with 3:06 left. Plenty of time, but you do want to get a stop at some point just to build that confidence back up here. Rocket League being such a mental game, getting down 7-0 with 3 minutes is not where you want to be. Plays that one out. Zrsty can't get back to that ball, but gonna take the boost, which really, like I said, has made, I think, the big difference. Boost management and making sure that you have everything in the tank to make the moves that you want to. Off the wall, off the backboard. Good carry there by Zrsty. I don't even think that touched the backboard. That was just a good carry and floater in.
Yeah, he just fakes him. That's a great fake under Mayo. My worry as well about it, you mentioned momentum and how this is going to hurt the momentum of Mayo. Not only that, it's also the grand finals, and again, with this win, Zrsty only needs one more victory, meaning Mayo, he's got to, not only does he have to come back, he's got to come back and win 2 straight. And with momentum not being in his favor, boy, he's going to be in a tough position, because momentum's is in Zrsty's favor, and Mayo can't drop another game after this one, as Zrsty just keeps control, keeps it away, and I think they're going to let this game be over. I think that Mayo's given up here. I think he's showing the white flag now. And that means for Zrsty, that's a big win. 8-0 in Game 3. Mayo won't even get a goal here. And yeah, he's showing the white flag at this point, so that means we're going to advance to Game 4 momentarily with Zrsty in the lead.
Yeah, they're asking a couple questions there in the chat. Mayo says he's lagging worse and worse, and Zrsty's trying to figure out if there is a forfeit. Yeah, I would just let it time out like you said there. Man, Zrsty took control and then never gave it back, and then Mayo had a good chance there to push up to the Zrsty had a chance to, or Mayo had a chance to push up that ball, and unfortunately got in his own way, slowed it up, and that's what led to that 8th goal, unfortunately.
Definitely get to see here. As these players are going to let this game time out. Maybe we'll get a couple clips here as well with how, one side of this game now is Mayo. Oh, nice little shot there. Why not? As, oh, you know what? Zrsty asked for this too. He wanted a little bit of freestyle. So we'll get a little bit of mechanics for all of you out there who wanted to see some mechanical plays. We haven't had a lot of it tonight in the this elite division. We haven't seen too many mechanical plays. These players have been playing much more grounded. But considering it's the grand final, considering Zrsty's going to be up 2-1 at the end of this game, in this series, at the end of this game, I mean, he only needs one more win, and considering how one-sided this game is going to be, Mayo's in a lot of trouble, because not only can he not drop another game, I mean, after he lost this one, he can't really even let Zrsty have another strong start, because if Zrsty starts Game 4 off amazingly well, that might be it. He may not be able to come back, even if he is only a few goals down.
Yeah, and that's really gonna be the hard part, is just how do you stop Zrsty at this point? We've seen the touches and the plays and everything go kind of all Zrsty's way. Mayo having some internet problems, and that's, unfortunate, and that can make timing a little bit difficult. But man, just the way that Zrsty's been playing is off the charts. It's exactly what you would expect from an elite league player, and they've done pretty much everything you would expect, even with like the air touches, the fakes, the everything. Getting that ball in the air can be such a difficult thing to counter, especially on those backboard plays, because they have that chance for the fake if you give them too much time and you give them too much space.
Oh, this
This
is
one
now
is over for Zrsty.
now a 2-1 series advantage for Zrsty, only needing one more game to take this one. It's late for Zrsty. It's like 5 a.m. now. He's ready to be done, and he only needs one more win.
Yeah, but Mayo's got time. Mayo's got time to come back. I mean, if he can get this next one going, and a better server, we might be able to put on a little show here for everybody. And then that's kind of what I would hope for him, for his sake. Nobody wants to go out like that, you don't want to go out laying down, but you want to be, on your sword, on your shield, and going down with a fight.
And we'll see about that here. So, game 4 now in this series. Zrsty just needs one more game, and the tournament will be theirs. So, how things have looked, with how things have played out, these games starting to get slowly but surely are starting to get a little bit more one-sided. Zrsty's starting to take more control. This is really where Mayo has to kind of pull it all together, rise back, and really take this. Really take over this game. If he can do that, well then he's got a great chance to win in Game 5. But we'll see if that's the case. Zrsty proving in Game 3 he can definitely run away as long as he's got a little bit of momentum on his side. And really that's all he needs in this game. It's in his favor. He only needs a little bit of momentum. If he can get it, I think this one could be over quite quickly.
Oh, absolutely. It's just going to depend on what kind of start Mayo gets and what kind of start Zrsty gets here. That's going to be the big thing. I mean, that's what we've talked about. Like, that first goal really makes a major difference, especially in ones. I mean, it just changes the whole momentum.
Game 4 in our grand final. Zrsty just needs one more to take the tournament, to take the Elite Division title, but Mayo trying to get that early start, and again, he needs that early start to really push Zrsty away. He's also going for a card change now. He's got a red Octane, so Zrsty trying to put some pressure on. That's an amazing save. Mayo gets back just in time and has some boost as well. Zrsty's still challenging. Zrsty's still going. Zrsty's still attacking. And Zrsty is still scoring.
That was just a really good play. Took it right off his nose. Mayo didn't really the chance to reset, and then gets the demo, and then boom, Zrsty's done.
Well, we've seen some pretty big demos tonight. That is going to be one such demo. And Zrsty not done. Is up the kickoff. Is that on? It is. Mayo's going to get the block, but forcing the play. He's almost been bumped out again. Zrsty charged at him there. Was going to get the demo if he had the chance to, but Mayo saw him. He'll just go for the shot instead. Up in front of the net. Mayo saves it. Zrsty still moving. Mayo there for the block, but Zrsty's making it very tough. Another demo, and he's got another open net. Won't be able to take this one, though. He left the play for Mayo. And he's just going to go all the way back to defense, take the ball again. He's going to give Mayo a boost, but he's got possession. He's got control, and as long as he's got the play in his favor, we know Zrsty is not one to let a chance go away as he finds the bump, forces Mayo out, and now doubles his lead.
Yeah, and it took him a little while here. I mean, it's up to 351. He's really not pushing the issue. That one just pops off the back of Mayo and kind of goes in. The positioning has just not been there for Mayo, unfortunately. But that one's a good kickoff. Going to go for Mayo there. Gets a good boost, but overshoots that ball and just has to take a second to get back. He's got a chance if he can't let... He's just taking a little too much time and letting Zrsty get back. The urgency, he's trying to find that fine balance. Just trying to find that fine balance of timing, and there he's going to get a really good goal there to cut that lead to 1.
Nice flip reset from him, and I mean, one that he desperately needs. He needs something positive, something that he can cling on to, knowing that this game is not over just yet. That flip reset might be the goal that Mayo needs. A lot more time left in this game. Zrsty may have had the first part of this game, but Mayo looking to take the next is Zrsty. Oh, what a flip reset. That's wide open for Zrsty. Oh, but he hit the post. Oh, that was a great play from Zrsty. He did the hard part there and outplaying Mayo. But the easy part, he couldn't find that shot, just not on. And it will, unfortunately for Zrsty, mean that this game stays separated by only a solitary score.
Yeah, it's very close. I mean, had a chance to go up 2, and then Mayo's going to misplay that one off. But Zrsty's going to turn around and go for the ball, or for the boost instead of the ball. Trying to push it down. Mayo with a good touch there. He's got to be careful. Zrsty's got a really good pop in the air. Mayo with a good save, but off the post twice. Mayo's going to have another chance to save this ball. A little bit of ball luck here is doing excellent work here for Mayo as he gets a really good challenge there. It's going to go up and around in front of the net. Zrsty able to pop that one up and around. That one was very, very close. This game staying tight. Had a chance to let it get out of the way, and it hasn't really gotten out of there yet. Mayo with a good touch. Zrsty's going to go up, and that one he just could not get back in time for.
Yeah, Zrsty here turning around to the net, just doesn't have the boost. This is one where he's trying to flip it up above the bar so they can go into the back wall and save it away, but just not enough height on it to beat out the play from Zrsty. And man, Zrsty, after how many open nets he's missed, I think that one is deserved.
Oh, absolutely. You know, had a couple of chances there, and they're just robbed by the post. The best defender on the field sometimes, and that one's going to work out for him. Zrsty with a really good stop there to make the play on Mayo, and the really good positioning there. Push it out. Drops it down, but Zrsty just reads that one perfectly. That one's going to roll down, and it's a 4-1 game with 2 minutes left. Mayo's touches just have not been what he's looking for there. Didn't get the touch off the back of the car to get around Zrsty, and that one just goes the other way. It's hard to get that positioning back once you lose it in the air like that, especially if the ball gets away from you and you don't get the touch that you're looking for. Right back to the kickoff here. It's going to go off to the side in the mid. Excuse me. Mayo waiting on that one. Good patience. Just trying to find something to draw Zrsty out. Zrsty's there. Mayo finding the ball again. Still can't fight it, and that one is going to bounce in for Mayo. Almost robbed by the goalpost there again. Just really good defensive play.
And for Mayo here, he's not out of it. He's far from out of it. But he's going to have to, as you said, play patiently. You said he said it before that he can play patiently in a lot of these games because when he's down, he's not down by much. And the same thing can go here. He can play patiently. He doesn't need to rush. But Zrsty making him panic. Oh, he got the save anyways. That one went off the back wall. Zrsty got pushed into the save. Mayo can't challenge. Zrsty's going to beat him out. That one pinched away. Who's got the better recovery? It will be Zrsty. He's got boost. Mayo will chase him down, but it is Zrsty who's got the ball. Mayo demoed away. Zrsty with another demo goal. And Mayo behind again.
Those demo goals really are just setting Zrsty up. Like that's been like the key here, I think. We haven't really seen a whole lot of demos out of Mayo, maybe playing too cautiously or too nicely, but he's down 3 with 117. Maybe that's something that he needs to look for to even try to get back into this. And to stay in this series, because like you said, Zrsty is on match point here.
A demo for Mayo, and an open net as well. Zrsty will not have a good spawn. 1 minute and 7 seconds. 67 seconds left. Mayo and his hopes of winning the Lone Frontier tournament. It relies on him getting at least 2 more goals in this final minute of gameplay.
Yeah, I think the demo strat here is probably going to be the play for both players. Unless Mayo gets a good touch here, and does, but that ball's going to go out and around to Zrsty. Pushing back for it. Mayo gets to it. Just going to have to be careful. He kind of exposed the backside of his car, which is really where Zrsty's demos have come from this game. Mayo with a good touch. Going to try to get a good second touch. Turn the ball around, but Zrsty is there. Just drove it right back to him. Ball's in the corner. Mayo was pushing for the demo there. Not able to get it. Going to try to push that ball wide. It's up and over. Mayo pushing on it. Sends it around right back to Zrsty. Got to be careful. Zrsty's going to get a touch there. Mayo tries to pop it around, but turns away from the ball. Thankfully, he did there, though. Gets a good save. He's running out of time, though. He's down 2 with 23 seconds left. Going to have to make something happen. Gets it around. Is it going to go in? No, it's just a little wide. Oh, my goodness.
Playing close, but will it be enough? Zrsty avoiding any bump attempts. Mayo just doesn't have the room to work with. Zrsty will bump him away. Time will expire in the grand finals. Zrsty, in a 3-1 scoreline, will defeat Mayo and win the Frontier Doubles League Lone Frontier Tournament.
Just excellent play there by Zrsty. Poor Mayo just did not have a good finish of that. But not to take anything away from Zrsty, I mean, Zrsty played that perfectly. For not seeing anything all game or all night, like just to step in like that and come in and dominate, especially as late as he'd been out and away. Not a bad showing at all for Zrsty.
Yeah, a 3-1 win in the grand finals. For Mayo, he'll be pretty happy, I think, making it to the grand finals, but unfortunately, no win here. So that is going to end our elite tournaments here tonight. So we've already crowned 2 champions this evening. Earlier in the Star Division, it was the win for Waffle King. Now in the Elite Division, it is Zrsty who takes this one. So tournament will be Zrsty's. Reminder that more tournaments to come as well. Tomorrow evening, I won't be alive, but the Frontier Doubles League stream will be live. They'll have the Expert division live for that one. That's a pretty big division with 15 players in it. And then next weekend, on Saturday, we'll be live with the Adept division. That one has 9. And that will be followed by on the Sunday after by the Origin division with 6 players in that one. So a lot more to go in the Frontiers Doubles League Lone Frontier tournament here, but what a night it was so far here. We had 2 tournaments, 2 champions crowned, and well, ConwayTwtchy, what a tournament it has been tonight. We've seen some excellent gameplay so far for a lot of different players.
Yeah, I think a lot of players putting themselves kind of on the map, getting ready for the season coming up. It just excellent 1v1 play. I mean, that's the kind of fundamentals that you look for when you're trying to, put together a team, and sometimes those fundamentals don't get a chance to really show in a 2v2 or even a 3v3 setting. Like that really makes a difference. So it was nice to throw this 1v1 tournament together. Shout out FDL, and I've had an absolute blast here tonight.
Yeah, I have as well. It's been an amazing night. It's been amazing to see all the players out here again. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be the Frontier Doubles League Twitch. That will be live with more. But for myself, here as well, as part of Frontier Doubles League, from Kitty Meow Meow 360 and ConwayTwtchy, who joined me as well. I'm Sporty FC. Thank you all so much for joining the Frontiers Doubles League Lone Frontier tournaments. We'll be live again next Saturday with more from FDL Lone Frontier. But for now, take care. Have an amazing rest of your night. Sleep well. We'll see you again soon.